I thought I'd make this video to show you how to some basics of computational design. I'll be honest with you, it's very basic, but you can create this skyscraper here. It's 20 floors. You can change the widths on demand, the dimensions of the floors. You can also change the thickness of the floors, and you can change the twist. So I'm going to delete all of this. I'm going to start with a rectangle by width length. Where is it? Oh, there we go. I was in geometry mode, that's why. Oops, let me delete these. So you would either search here or right click and go to search rectangle by width length. Now I need a plane, I need a width, and I need a length. So let's sort the plane first. Start typing plane. You'll see XY plane. You can choose XZ as well or YZ. I want this flat one. That's the XY plane. This will tell it the plane. Numbers, number slider. Now I want to give this some maximum numbers. You can also just choose a number and type in the number manually if you know what number you want. So there you go. But I like using the slider. It's more intuitive. You could use the same slider actually in the length and the width. Let's change the maximum to 25 meters or 25 units. Steps goes up in steps of 1. And there you go. But so Control C, Control V after selecting it. I want it to be rectangular instead, so I'll do that. And now I can make it wider. And the great thing is that if you've created the whole tree, you can just add this in later and it won't affect the rest of the tree. Or code, whatever you want to call it. So now I want to copy this in the Z direction to make the different floors. So let's say geometry dot translate. I would say there, yeah, in the XY direction. Now the geometry is obviously this rectangle I've created. Now I need to give the Z translation some numbers. I'm going to show you one way, and then I'm going to show you why that way doesn't work. So I'll come up here to search and say number. I'm going to use a number here for a specific reason. I'm going to type 0 to say I want it to start at 0. This is a different way of using the number command, by the way. So I want my first rectangle to be at 0, which it already is, dot dot, hashtag 20, so that's my number of floors, dot dot, 4, so that's the number of units between each shape. And I'm going to stick that in the Z translation. There you go. Now I have 20. Let's go through it. I have 20 floors at 4 units apart in the Z direction, starting at floor 0. So if I was to change this to 1, you can see that the first one, the one I created, it will always be on the floor, but the translation will start at unit number 1, and that's the same if I change it to 2. So you can play with that in your own time. I'm not going to go through each bit. I think it's self-explanatory. Oh, there, I removed the dot by accident. That's why it's giving me a problem. So I give it another one, and it moves it all back down. Right. Next, I need to give it a rotation command. Now I'm going to show you why this is a problem as it is. I'll say geometry.rotate. So the geometry I want to use is that. No, I've picked by origin and axes. I need by base plane. So ignore that. You can use the other one for something else, something I'm yet to discover. But for now, I use this one. Geometry there. X, Y. Sorry, no. I want a plane. The XY plane, as we used before, to tell it what base plane to use. Let me zoom in a bit so you can read. Now degrees. What I could do is add a number slider. I'll just use this. I like this. Stick that in there. And that's great, but it rotates everything by the same number. However, what I can do to overcome that, basically I want each one to rotate by a certain number of degrees. I'm going to say a maximum of 2 degrees in steps of 0, well, 0. Yeah, we'll keep it at 0.1 actually. But now they're all rotated by 2 degrees. I'll keep it at 5 actually, so that's easier to see. So what I want to do is make the difference in rotation between this line and this line 5 or whatever degrees, 5 degrees, and then the difference between that and the next one 5, and so on and so forth. So how I would do that is I would add a watch list and then stick that in degrees. No, I wouldn't do that. Stick that in the Z translation. So that's not done anything. Now I need to use the star command to tell Dynamo, that I want to do something with all of these independently or relative to each other, so to speak. And stick that in here. And now this is the number of degrees to rotate each one relative to the previous one. And there you go. So if I turn this one off, turn off the preview, 5 degrees is a bit much, but you can see that they're all twisting relative to each other. I'll say 2 degrees max. There we go. Now they can all rotate. Now, what I need to do next is, I have the data here. I'm gonna just leave it at 1 degree. Well, actually, I don't know if this has got to be degrees, right? It's not radians. Something I'll find out. Yeah, it's definitely degrees, because 1 degree is pretty much what we can see there. But there is a way of doing radians, but I'm not going to do that in this session. Right, so now to give it a surface, I can say surface by loft. And there you go. It's given it all an outside exterior surface. Go back to this. I'll turn that off. I'll leave it there just in case I want to use it. I'll say surface by patch. And this will give the floors a surface. So the next thing to do is give these floors some meat. Give them a thickness, basically. So what I'll do is surface thicken. So I'll tell it what surface I want to thicken. That's all of these, this list here, because that list is incorporated into this. Well, yeah, well, actually it comes from here. This rectangle goes into geometry, which has been translated many times here, which links into here. So that's how it follows the path back. Now the thickness, I'm going to give it a number slider. Ooh. Maximum, let's say 1 unit, even though a 1 meter wide or thick floor is pretty very thick. Actually, I'll make it 0.5. Even that is pretty thick. And now you can change the step. Well, 0.1 is good. Make it thinner and thicker. But remember, this is about, it does it equally about the rectangle. So there is a way of thickening it downwards only or upwards. But we'll go through that in the future. Actually, I think we can, I have a theory. Use this command. Stick that in the Y. And then add a number. Oh, whoops. No? Okay. Yeah, that's not how you do it. So we'll leave that out. I'll go back to the number slider. I'll work out how to do it that way. But for now, we'll leave it at that. And like I said, because it's all parametric and calculated, everything links to each other, unlike the standard conventional way of modeling. If I want to change the twist, obviously one thing about it, one complaint you'll get is no architect will twist that much or will change that much. That's not the idea of this. The idea is to be able to do this on small things also, not just the larger project. And remember, I can turn this off and that, and just show the outside. And then I can import this into Revit, which I'm not going to do in this video.